Today we are going to do the wilcoxon rank sum test. A couple of things. This allows you to have two different sample sizes, and if they are the same, just pick one as the smaller and call that your N1. Your test statistic will be a z-score, and the formula for the z-score is the capital R minus the mean sub R and the standard deviation sub R. And the formulas for the mean sub R and the standard deviation sub R are as follows. You're going to take N1 and then in parentheses N1 plus N2 plus 1 divided by 2, and that gives you mu sub R, which goes there in your formula. And then your standard deviation is N1 times N2, and then in here in the parentheses is N1 plus N2 plus 1. And then you're dividing that all by 12, and then you're taking the square root of that whole thing, and that goes in the denominator of your z-score formula. And because you're using a z-score formula, you have to, or you use, INV norm to get your critical values. Now we're going to do the try it yourself number 2 in chapter 11 section 2 from your e-text. And when you read that, you'll get that your null hypothesis is that they're the same, and that your alternative hypothesis is that they are different, and there's the claim that they are different. Now, because it's same, that's equals, different is not equals. That means we're dealing with a two-tailed test, so we do INV norm, and your alpha is 0.05, so we do INV norm 0.025, and we get negative 1.96. And because of the symmetry, we make it a positive 1.96. Then, this is a bit time consuming, you have to create basically 3 columns. You're going to do the two, in this case, companies. I called it company B and company A. You're going to lump all that data together and you're going to order it. So here's your data in order. And then next to that is your rank. Now I didn't do all of them on this sheet on the soccer field whiteboard, but I did do a couple. And so the first one would be from company B, and that was a data point of 1.7, and that was my first value, or my lowest value. I'm sorry. Yeah, 1.7. And then from company B was 1.8. That was my second. Of interest, and part of the reason I wanted to do this much of it, was both company A and company B have a 3.0. And if you're following the numbers through, it'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 3.0 is a 5, and then the other 3.0 is a 6. But we're not sure which one is more important. Maybe a good way to describe it. So what we do is we take 5 and 6, add them, and then we divide by 2, and we get each of them to have a rank of 5.5. Now, the way you get your R is you take the smaller sample size, and in this case, because they're the same, we just pick one, and we add up all the ranks. So I added up all the ranks of B, and I got an R of 137.5. Following my formulas, I got a mu sub R of 150 and a sigma sub R of 17.32. That means my z-score was negative 0.7217. Well, negative 0.7 lands in the fail to reject region. So my conclusion is fail to reject the null, which means we're keeping our null. That means our alternative's not going to be recognized. And since our claim is on the alternative, we're going to say there's insufficient evidence to support the claim. Our alpha, again, we always state that, is 0.05, and then we say insufficient, and we restate our claim. And again, I'm okay with you just saying insufficient or sufficient. I don't get too stressed about that when you take your test. Hopefully that helps.